building a video creation space. That is the topic of this part. And here is a look through my little setup here. And this is the result that you can see. First of all, you see the whole video, but there's also a screenshot from how this looks. And this comes from this beautiful space. This is a screenshot taken from here. This is where I would be taking that picture. And then you can look at this setup. So what can we see here? Let me show you. First of all, for most people, most important is the camera. Yeah, this is, I'm going to explain to you the exact hardware that I'm using. It's a Sony camera with a real lens on it. We have a microphone that is coming up here. Here's the microphone. And we have two lights that are facing me, so I'm not sitting in the dark. Those are these lights. And I have my iPad straight in front of me. That's my iPad here. It's currently positioned like here. And I have my MacBook that is getting all of this data together. Yeah, and on the screen, on this big screen, that is where I currently see a preview of what you are looking at. So I always know, am I showing you the correct scene, or am I maybe sharing the wrong slide at the moment? So that is the video setup. Let's go through it one by one. Let's remember, what are the goals of this video setup? We want to have very, very simple message sharing. That is the main focus. We want to have a high quality of video and audio. We want a setup that transports the atmosphere here in this room and really brings that across. We want to record straight to the computer. It's 2020. Yeah, SD cards should be dead, but they are still existing and people are still bothered that there is no SD card slot on the MacBook anymore. Just plug your camera into your MacBook, done deal. We want simple scene switching, the ability, as I showed you. I showed you my browser window with the questions, and then I went back to the slides. That was a scene switch. Yeah? And we want this to be live stream ready for several reasons. So first of all, live streaming is the most salient, the most engaging video format there is. Yeah, there's recorded video, and above recorded video in the content marketing hierarchy is only live video. There is something with us humans that we prefer a live video over a recorded one. So everybody in the live stream will understand this right now, but maybe if you watch this later, you won't get it. Yeah, you don't feel it's important, but there is something about it. If you know the platform twitch.tv, it's a place where we can watch people play computer games live. And nobody would ever think about recording their sessions there later and leaving that up. Nobody cares about that. Yeah, maybe some specific sessions and put that back on YouTube. That is interesting. But I want this setup to be live stream ready. And I want this to be budget friendly. I have two versions for you. One that would be more like a 3,000 to 4,000 euro version, and one that is the phone version that you probably have for free right now. So this is our goal. With that in mind, let's look at the core piece of this setup. It is the computer. As I said, it's 2020. We have those amazingly powerful machines that are able to take in the feed from the video camera, they take in the feed here from the iPad, and we are talking about a 4-year-old MacBook. Yeah, it was fully spec'd out 4 years ago, but it's still, yeah, it's working. It's streaming this video right now to Restream, where it goes to YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. By the way, how's the LinkedIn live stream coming? It's not working at the moment. And it's recording the video at the same time to the computer, which is an additional task with a 4-year-old laptop. So I think it's really time that we embrace that. A big advantage of this is that it also takes in the microphone. And that means I don't have anything to do with syncing voice and images later. That reduces the editing time again, which is very much my goal. So here's the MacBook, and right above the MacBook here is the camera, so that I look at you. I can see the chat. If you chat in the Discord with me, I can see that. But this is the focus, yeah, at eye level. And let's talk about this camera. This is a top-down view from the camera. You can see it's a Sony Alpha 6500 with a Sigma 16mm 1x4. So why did I choose this camera and this lens? The Sony Alpha series is right now, I think, the best bang for budget video camera that you can use for live streams. This is even an older model. I show you my current recommendation list if I would buy everything new again in 5 minutes. So this video has the ability to record in 4K. I right now use it only in 1080p because it's unrealistic to stream in 4K. It has the ability to connect it with a video capture card to my computer. Yeah, it has a clean HDMI output, and it has, of course, the ability to add real lenses to it. And let's talk about this lens. This is an absolutely fantastic lens. It costs only 350 euro at the moment, I think, and is 16 millimeters, which would be a 24 millimeter equivalent on a full frame camera. Has a nice view of the room. Yeah, this is the widest I can go, and that transports some of the atmosphere here in this room to you guys. And the 1.4 is how fast the lens is, how wide open it gets, how light sensitive it is. And because I'm recording in dark situations, like right now, you will see that the light from video to video, yeah, is going to get darker and darker and darker in the background, and the light's going to come up. So I need to have a lens that is light sensitive, and another advantage of a very fast lens is that the background is blurry, which gives me some separation to the background, and it's easier for you to focus on me. Plus it gives it like a professional look that you would normally not get from a phone camera, for example. Yeah, so that is why I choose this camera setup. And you can see that here is a cable. This is an HDMI cable that goes down here into a video capture card. I'm going to show you that in a second. So then we have the video. As I said, the video is, from my perspective, I could touch it here. It's barely out of the frame. It is as close as possible to my mouth. So you get a good voice impression of me that is very realistic. I would say it's much more important to have good audio than video. People will forgive you and still keep watching if it's a bit blurry. Maybe some of you who are watching it in the live stream and you might have a bit of bad reception, you are not having LTE but just 3G connection, then the quality will go down, the visual quality, but nobody will accept bad audio quality. If I would be constantly going over the threshold, going into the red, and I really hope I'm not at the moment, then everybody would just stop listening to it. So video, even in the iPhone setup, in the phone setup, that is the only thing I would always invest in extra. Yeah, so I invested into the Rode VideoMic NTG. It is a very new mic. It has one big advantage. It has a straight USB connection from here is the USB-C port, and it goes straight into my MacBook with another USB-C connection. And I don't have to attach any weird cables and I don't have to put it directly into the camera. I get everything straight into the MacBook, which allows me to, again, save a lot of time in post-production here. So all of those cables go here into the MacBook. So that would be my microphone recommendation. And And here is the video capture card. This guy is called the Elgato CamLink 4K. I have a couple of capture cards that I tried. I think this is one of the most flexible ones. It has one huge advantage. Imagine this, yeah, on the camera, you have this HDMI thing, yeah, a port that comes out of the camera and it goes straight into this video capture card. This is where it ends up, where the camera cable ends up. And if you connect that to your laptop, it becomes automatically recognizable as a webcam. And that means you can use this camera setup in Zoom calls, Skype calls, Hangouts, in Discord, in Slack calls, in Microsoft Team calls, and you have this professional look in your sales calls, in your team meetings, and which I think really gives additional value. A lot of other capture cards don't have this webcam compatibility. Yeah, they are really good capture cards. They can capture videos in high quality from your camera, but they don't have this ability. So I got this recommendation from a YouTube channel called EPOS. And this guy is absolutely amazing. He explained, no, EPOS like this. Let me show you. EPOS. If you YouTube that guy, he is explaining everything you could possibly want to know about live stream setups that then goes back into my recording setup. So this CamLink 4K enables my MacBook to be able to receive camera input, because it's not simply possible to just plug in your camera and be ready. Canon did a nice update a couple of days ago where they now enabled a lot of the newer line cameras to just be pluggable, but the quality is still a bit suboptimal. Yeah, so this is a video capture card that you need. Then it is highly recommended that you have some lights. Yeah, and as you can see, I can make my lights a bit dimmer, I can make them a bit brighter, I can make them a bit warmer or colder, depending on the surroundings here. And these are called the Elgato Keylight Air. A lot of Elgato stuff. You know why? Because Elgato is a company that focuses on creating accessories for gamers who like live streaming. And the gaming industry has been at this point for 3 years now. So it took 3 years for me to adopt this. 12-year-old girls and guys are streaming 8 hours a day and producing 8 hours of video content per day on Twitch. That might be a health concern, but otherwise I'm absolutely fascinated on how they do this. Yeah, and we are talking about creating 3 15-minute videos per week. Yeah, and making a big deal out of that. So this company makes those products for this community of streamers, game streamers, and we can pick this up for business because they are so far in front of us. I always look at the game industry to see what's coming in 2 to 3 years to the customer, to the end consumer, and then 2 years later it comes to the B2B world. So if you hop on this bandwagon, you're going to be 2 years ahead of the other B2B competition. So there you can see the full shot. These are the lights. You should have at least one light, or sit close to the window and record during daylight. Yeah, that is fine as well. I prefer to be flexible, to be able to record whenever I have time. Yeah, that is part of the goal I have with this setup. And then the last shiny bit is my nice video switcher. So that's the last tool I'm going to recommend to you. Yeah, the last piece of hardware. Again, this is called the Elgato Stream Deck, and it's actually meant for gamers. And as you can maybe see here I can choose different stream. This just shows the cam. This just shows my desktop screen. This one shows the cam with the desktop screen, and this shows the screen with the cam. So it's a picture-in-picture mode, and I can switch between those. And here, for example, I can show you, if I want to look back at the questions that have already come in, I can switch back And voila, I now have a different scene. You can now see that my window where you can see me has become a lot slimmer, but there is now more space for the browser window, because this information is more important than my face right now. And you can see, oh yeah, people looked at, can't I just use my phone to create video content? Yeah, we will get to that in a very, very, very little bit. So let's go back and switch back. This is what this streamer can do for you, but it can also control your light. It can start, here's my light control. This makes it warmer and colder. This makes it brighter. This turns on the streaming, the recording, and this just turns on and off the lights. And this is completely programmable. I'm currently planning to have like cool sounds, yeah, that can push at a button like Stefan Raab used to do it in the German TV. Yeah, so having a device that helps you to switch scenes easily without any technical knowledge is very important, because you want to focus on the audience. You don't want to focus on the tooling stuff. Yeah, you're busy communicating your message. At least I am, and my brain space gets a lot slimmer when I'm sitting here in front of you with a live stream. So the last piece of the puzzle, but that is not a tech tool, is your background. So this is the pirateskills studio at the Startplatz here in Cologne, Germany. And this is my little office, 20 square meters. But as you can see, I positioned one camera in one corner and I'm filming into the other corner. So I have a nice perspective that is fed into the camera. And this gives you a feeling of depth, and it shows some personality. Everybody who knows me really well knows that I'm an absolute book nerd. Yeah, and I have my little library here. I have a bonsai here because I like it quiet and very focused, but I also have my steering wheel for the ship, and there's a little pirate ship up there, and one of my favorite designer lamps. And I just like to use the room as part of the set. Don't just sit, if possible, don't just sit in front of the white wall. It's super boring. And use the opportunity to actually let some personality show through, through the room. And using a bit of light in the background really helps you to make it pop a bit more. So that's that part. And that's it. That's what results into the screen that you can see right now. And if you have this set up, you can now record the slides and the camera at the same time. And even though you don't want it yet, you are already live stream ready. And being live stream ready, that's the key to reducing the amount of video editing work that you have to do later. So in order to make it easier for you, I've set up a list of the hardware that you can then Google and look for where you can get it. And this is actually the list that I would be getting today if I would buy a new set of hardware right now. And let me just explain. I would get the 2020 MacBook Pro 13-inch that just came out. Yeah, it's a super good refresh at the moment. There on the Windows end, I would recommend the Dell XPS 13 or 15. That is really great. Or if you have an iMac, that is probably what I'm going to switch to when the new iMac comes out in a couple of weeks. Let's please hope so. I would not buy the Alpha Sony 6500 again, but the 6400. The numbering with Sony is always really weird. It is actually a lower model, but it has a flip-up screen. And then you can see on the camera. Right now, I can't see what my camera is seeing. I just see it in the preview of the live stream. But it has a flip-up screen that really helps you to dial in your camera easier. So I would get that, and it's cheaper than my camera, by the way. I would still get the same lens. It's the best lens I could imagine for this. Using this, I would get the VideoMic NTG. I would get the Elgato CamLink as a capture card. I would get the I would get 2 Elgato Keylight Airs. They also have a big version, which is much more expensive. If you just want to have one light, yes, maybe go for it, but these are plenty bright. Yeah, I could not turn up the full brightness here. Let me try. See, I'm already blowing out. Yeah, and it's not the highest brightness level yet. And I would get an Elgato Stream Deck. Yeah, I think buying all of this new would cap out at around 4K. I really hope you already have a laptop, yeah, which would already cut half of that cost, and the rest of that should be affordable for around 2K. So let's answer the first question. Why can't we just get an iPhone? Yeah, or a good Android? I would say every Samsung phone above the S8 is absolutely just as capable as any iPhone. And I 100% love to use my, I think 2, 3, 4-year-old iPhone X or 10 still for selfies, for very real, I'm in the room situations. I just don't like to use it for recording educational content. What I would get is a Rode VideoMic. It's a microphone that doesn't need any power. You just plug it in with the adapter into your phone, and then you have really good sound and the camera. There are some adapters where you can put the mic on top. That is the only little upgrade I would get. 100% go and start with the phone setup. Let nothing, no piece of tech ever come between you and actually getting into creation and execution mode. But you will lose a couple of things. Let me explain. Video quality. Yeah, first of all, if you have to use your phone, try to use the back side. Yeah, the back camera, not the front camera. The front camera sucks. It starts to suck a bit less from the iPhone 11 and beyond. But you actually want to see yourself so you can see the background. So you will always tend to use the front camera, and the video quality will suffer. You will lose the ability to do any screen sharing. That's off. It is super sad. Yeah, I mean, I love sharing slides, yeah, while I'm talking. It helps to keep the structure. It gives you something to download later. And I also miss the design flexibility. I'm able to switch scenes. I can put like a frame around my topic. I can put my logo in without any editing. And I don't want to miss that design flexibility. And what I like about having a dedicated setup like this, design is good by default, and light and sound and everything is good by default. I just press a button and I don't have to look at, oh yeah, am I standing in the right position? No, everything is ready to go. And once you have invested in that, it's an absolute joy, yeah, to just sit here, press the record button, put a slide here on my iPad, and that's it.